Hi and welcome to Cork Live TV. I'm Ken O'Flynn, and tonight I'm joined by an amazing young man who has a very interesting story to tell us, and I'm also joined by his mum and dad who have even a more amazing story of their plight and their difficulties that they've had over the last number of years, but a successful end to that story. And I'm also joined on the couch tonight by Emma Ronan, who is one of Cork's, Munster's up and coming comic artists, performing around the city, doing lots of tours at the moment. So I'm delighted to welcome you all to the show. Thanks very much for coming on.
Thank you.
And welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
So I suppose I'll start with yourself, Aaron McMahon, the man of the moment. And like everybody knows who you are now from doing all the radios and all the TV shows and all the other stuff on the newspapers and things like that. But I suppose your story starts about 2 years ago now, isn't it?
Yeah, 2017 February.
And you were diagnosed on that day?
On February 22nd. 22nd, yeah.
So you were diagnosed with an extremely rare form of bone cancer at the time, wasn't it?
Yes.
So how did life, what happened from there? Like, was it like an incomplete huge shock to you?
It was like a flash, really. These 2 years have passed completely.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's just gone by so fast. Like,
so it's kind of a whirlwind, and I suppose the best way to describe it is kind of almost, it feels like it's something happening to somebody else, isn't it? It's everything happens so quickly.
We call it the roller coaster ride.
Like Gail, it must have been like for ye. Whatever about being the person diagnosed and you're being rushed in and out of tests and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. To be told that your child has cancer, and to be told that it must have been devastating for you.
Yes, it was. It was horrendous, actually. It was horrendous to get the diagnosis. Well, first of all, we got a diagnosis of another tumour first, because they thought it was a cholangiocarcinoma first. The first day we actually got told it was cholangiocarcinoma. It was actually, we were rushed up from Cork here by ambulance to Beaumont Hospital in Dublin, where he had further testing, and then they told it was actually one or the other. They gave us two tumours, which they thought it was. It was actually until they actually did the surgery that it came back, and they told us it was a chordoma. And that was actually one of the rarest tumours you can actually get. And that was actually when we actually started doing our own research. And then they told us that he had to go to Germany for specialised proton therapy. And that even became a roller coaster itself, the process to get to there. Everything from there, from Beaumont Hospital to Germany, was like a train crash. It actually had to go so quick. Do you know what I mean?
And you were frantically Googling, trying to find information.
Everything was like bang, 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 and you couldn't even breathe. You actually, like, sometimes there was days there we actually felt we couldn't breathe ourselves, and we had two other boys. I don't even think sometimes we even knew where we were, or they knew even where we were at times. We hadn't even time to talk to them. We hadn't time to talk to all the family members. Everything was going so fast, and funding and things like that. It was a mess. The system itself, the way we had to go through. Not only did we have a diagnosis of one of the rarest tumours you can actually get, at 16, he was at the time, but we had to deal with a system that didn't want to even help us. So we had that mess to deal with.
Mainly because there wasn't the expertise in the country, or?
Well, they had done the surgery. It was actually to get the treatment abroad scheme was at the time we were dealing with, but they hadn't done the paperwork at the start, and then it was kind of like a rush job to get us to Germany, because actually to deal with Aaron's tumour we had a certain amount of time and things like that. But everything just seemed to be rushed, and the panic was on, and it was just crazy. It was, I don't know, really, being honest, looking back, how we even coped with it. And then even after that, we came home after 9.5 weeks, wasn't it, in Germany. And then within a few weeks of that, Aaron took a bad turn even in August. And then we found out that he had a gliosis in the brain, which was actually due to the stroke that he had suffered in the surgery, which we didn't know about at the time. So that caused a brain injury. So we had to get help for that. We had to deal with that at the time as well, which caused him to take a downturn actually. And from that on, then we were actually trying to digest that and get him the help that he needed for that. And actually, from last August to January, we were dealing with all that, trying to get him the help and rebuild him from that.
Because you've had a very, very tough 2 years. Like you've suffered memory loss. You've had with the strokes, and like we were talking before we came on air about the difficulties that you've had, and short-term memory loss has been.
Yeah, the short term's been the worst hit. Long term, it's bad, but like I can feel like I can probably work on something to help me with it. But like short term it's literally like it feels like it's gone. I remember nothing. Like if what I do during the week, I don't remember that. So it's just, and like my eye was damaged. Like my both eyes were. I always had a lazy eye in my left eye, but now my right eye is damaged now as well, and that's caused me bad problems as well for seeing. You know, like reading and stuff. Like say if I was reading off a whiteboard inside school, I couldn't read it. I can't read it.
And you've missed school now for the last 2 years.
Yeah, last 2 years I missed it, and I have to leave so this year.
Oh.
Yeah, so I have to learn how to know to study. Like, how am I going to fit in 3 years of work when I can't even remember what I ate for breakfast? Like,
and it's retraining yourself again, and that's bloody tough.
I only have a few months to do it as well.
And you're back out to Pittsburgh again shortly.
Yeah, in December.
We're back out the last week in November. Yeah.
Like,
you know, we're back out now again. Like when we went, like last March, we found out that the tumour was regrowing, and it was growing around the carotid artery, which was wrapping around that, and that was actually going to kill him. So he was diagnosed that time then as terminal, basically. The way it was growing, so that's where we actually found out that he was actually terminal last March, the 8th of March actually. So that's where we had no help here then, basically. So we reached out that time to the doctors and the Cordoma Foundation. And
Paul, you started. It was through Google and research and finding the foundations and finding various organisations.
I suppose, look, when you're in a situation like we found ourselves in, you'll start researching. You'll start checking. You know, what are we dealing with? Because everybody knows power is in the knowledge of what you're dealing with. So I suppose we made connections from the East Coast to the West Coast, in Canada, South America, all over Europe. People that suffer this condition, and that actually proved to be very invaluable because we were able to reach across the Atlantic and say, guys, we now got bad news. What do we do?
People in Europe generally didn't have information for you, or certainly in Ireland.
Well, that's the information we were getting.
And you started with a Google search.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't even so much like a Google search. It was we reached out to a foundation in North America called the Cordoma Foundation.
Right.
They are set up. They're a non-profit organisation, basically by a young guy, similar age to Aaron.
He was diagnosed.
He was diagnosed as well, same as Aaron. You know, no hope, no research. Nobody understood anything about the disease. This young man, who's now in his 30s, set up the foundation, and the expertise that he's brought on board. Instead of criticising the health system, he said, "Okay, how do we learn from this? How can we get more research? How can we find, something to solve this? That's what should be done." That's the same with every disease. So through that foundation, he's developed, we'd say, the caregiver side, which is the mothers and fathers, say, for children, pediatrics with brain tumours, right? Then you have the patient. Then you have the family, then you have, would say, the medical field, the medical people involved, the doctors, the nurses, research, and then you have scientists that are researching this and pathologists, and they're all working together as a team.
And they're all volunteering into the organisation.
It's all voluntary, right? And what the foundation does in America is they will recognise if you have a doctor or a researcher says, listen, he's in a eureka moment and he says, I actually think I've cracked something on this. He gets an award, a recognition. It's not a financial recognition. It's for the goodness, for the overall, foundation and for research. So I suppose with all that background, we reached out to them. They gave myself and Gail a list of doctors that potentially could look at Aaron, that maybe could give us an option, because at this stage, as Gail refers to, like she keeps referring to, it's a roller coaster. We're stuck on. You're trying to get up to the top of a very deep sea, trying to get breath, and trying to evaluate what's going on. You look at your 17-year-old son, who's got months to live, and you're going, this can't be happening. There must be some other solution. And we've always had an optimistic outlook on this, in the sense that, you know, if we deal with the right medical people and we deal with the right people who are interested in what Aaron has, we can probably succeed in this.
Yeah.
No, we were completely blessed that we had the foundation. We reached out to them. They gave us a list of doctors. There was a bit of good luck on our side as well, because we had last November of last year booked the conference to go. It was a biannual conference every 2 years. So you have international doctors coming to this conference in Boston. So we had a bit of luck.
Timing was everything.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
So we went out there with the Cork flag, and we said, look, this is us. Is there any chance you could have a look at this? And we had sent over details from before we got out there. And like, I suppose Aaron's attitude to this as well has been very, very proactive, and come here, there must be some other solution. You know, what do I do? So like, we put the trust in these doctors over in America, and one particular doctor from Pittsburgh said, look, maybe I could do this. I'm not guaranteeing anything. Give me time to take all the file back, MRIs, everything. Leave me go back to Pittsburgh. Leave me go back to UPMC, and we'll see what we can do. No promises. Met his surgical nurse, Michelle, the next morning after the conference, and gave her over MRIs, and like, she said, look, if he can do it, he can do it. If he can't, he can't. And I said, look, I'm waiting for now. It's almost a miracle here. So time went by, and we got the news saying that this is a doable operation. So
the relief must have been huge at that stage.
Tremendous.
Yeah. For all of you.
Absolutely.
For all of you.
Absolutely. It was just like, like I made certain promises to Aaron when he was in hospital. Gail made certain promises. We made promises as a husband and wife, you know, to each other, and we made promises to our youngest boy. And like, his two older brothers have been on the sideline spectators on this, and trying to support them as well in this type of thing. For any family who's going through an illness, it's you know, it's a carbon copy. But anyway, as I say, we got that opportunity. But as everybody knows, we had the hurdles to get over then, and we reached out to. We've criticised it, a dysfunctional system, which did say to us that if there was an option, they would help us.
Well, we were promised by a doctor here in Cork that if we came back with a surgical option from
The States.
America, that he would give us help us get this surgical option covered.
But that didn't happen.
And he promised us, actually, because actually on the day, actually I said to him that he wasn't actually he hadn't been great support all along to Aaron, and I said to him like that, are you guaranteeing me this from now on, you're actually going to help us? And he swore he would help us, and I can't forgive it. I can't forgive it now.
And why could you?
Do you know,
I can't forgive that now, because like, when they sent out the letter afterwards to turn down Aaron, they actually sent it out to Aaron.
when my dad applied for it.
You see, Aaron was 17.
And you received so you opened the post and you read the letter saying
You read the letter.
they weren't going to pay for an operation. That was
Yeah,
going to
I
save
knew
her
it was
life.
going to say no. I was giving out to him, let me put a post up on Facebook saying that we're looking for help to get over to America. And he was like, no, just wait. And 2 days before it came, that's it. It shouldn't take longer than a week to come. And I just said, that's it, I'm doing a post. And that's where I had loads of people contact us.
Like, you didn't take it lying down, did you?
No.
In fairness to you, like, you know.
No.
You're not only a brave man to take on organisations like this, but you're a brave man to go through everything that you've gone through and then say, look, I need people's help. And you went out there and you got it. Fair play to you.
Yeah, like I'm
very impressed by you.
Like, I'm not only put my life out there, but my family's life. Like, you know, it's not easy on any of us to get out and just talk about our experience, you know.
Of course.
But like my experience in America, I would have stayed there.
But just go back now a second.
Yeah.
You put one post on Facebook.
Yeah.
So what happened from there on in?
It just blew up. My Facebook blew up. Literally, a lot of people messaged me. I could never go through my Facebook again without seeing all the messages.
Really?
Yeah.
And I think my
It
post
was
got
blowing
like,
up by every.
nearly 2,000 likes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And a lot of hundreds of comments on it saying what can we do and stuff. And then we'd have family friends come and ask us what could they do, because they helped us last year with the kayak event. We did that again this year.
Yeah.
And that was a big,
much bigger scale.
Yeah, it was it was much bigger, and it was a fantastic night.
And who set up the GoFundMe page? Was that yourself or the family?
No,
or?
and
We
you set up the GoFund.
After doing the first radio interview, this happened so quick because when Aaron shared the post, one of his other brothers, Andrew, was up in Congratuletions. He's a member of the Defence Force. Well, as a member of the Defence Forces, but has since left. But he shared it with the media, and within minutes, the phones were ringing.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think definitely for a day or two we were kind of in shock that it was such a response. And I suppose, as Aaron just said a few seconds ago, I was going through the correct way of doing it. I was applying to the system.
Yeah.
And I was doing all that. And he was right. He was saying, Dad, it's not going to happen. Time is ticking on here, right? But then suddenly there were thousands and thousands of messages and text messages, and the front door bell was going. The bell is actually blown home.
Yeah.
They blew the bell off the door, right? People coming in with sandwiches, with tea bags. This can't be happening to you. This is not going to happen. What do you need to happen? I said,
With more cakes and biscuits.
Yeah,
and I swear to God, I don't think I actually ever saw.
There was I suppose, what I describe as an army of people that came in. But what really impressed me was.
And that was friends and family.
Friends and family,
people,
but
no. But then there were strangers. Then wasn't
we had
yeah.
people coming on, and it was there. Who's this guy? Yeah. And you're reading posts, and then you're being connected by other families that have gone through serious illnesses, kids with cancer, right? Mothers and fathers of kids with cancer.
Yeah.
The support, I to this day, I'm still blown away by it.
I'm always amazed how willing Irish people are if they're.
This is the best thing
asked.
about this is the
in particular
thing.
Cork people.
But
I'm not just saying because we're on Cork Live TV, but Cork people are really good.
This is really the testament to what's happened. The people of Cork said this is not going to happen. He is not going to be left there.
We support you.
We are going to back you 100%. What a city, what a county. Yeah. And suddenly this thing just erupted.
Yeah.
And as I say, we managed to raise, we put a target of €100,000 because we had to pay a deposit to guarantee the surgery.
Yeah.
So we've paid the deposit. We still haven't got our final bill, right? But what's the price of a child's life?
Well, it's priceless.
And the thing is, I think, when you look back in hindsight, maybe we should have done different things. Maybe we should have done things maybe better and whatever. But
you know what to do.
It was completely new, and I definitely would not, as and I know Gail and I would be the same. We wouldn't wish this on another family in a living memory. But just look at the positive side of this, right? The amount of there were thousands of families donated, right?
Now, Paul, you say to me though, which is the concerning thing.
Yeah.
You raised over 100 grand. I think it was 124, was it, or something?
147 less
less
the fees,
and
then the fees.
Then there was VAT
GoFundMe,
charged on the GoFundMe fees. So
well done. Thanks, GoFundMe.
Yeah.
well, it was actually the
Is there any
government.
other sites out there?
Yes, the government.
Well, the VAT.
That really took me back because we were saying, the amount of money, and then
You
the
say
fees that came off.
the bills are still coming in. And
Yeah.
they're still being topped up.
We're waiting for the big bill.
Yeah. So will you be back on the GoFundMe again?
We don't know yet. It all depends on how things, I suppose, develop. I think, it's one added worry again on top of everything else that we have.
Because you had to move lock, stock, and barrel to Pittsburgh for most of the summer.
Nearly 5 months.
5 months.
Five months.
Just 5 months. Under 5 months.
We're just weeks and weeks out there, right? Beautiful city, very like Cork in so many ways. Not with the same sense of humour, but very like Cork.
We'll teach them.
Well, actually,
You couldn't teach an American sense of humour.
Well, it was actually very funny because every second person that once they knew we were Irish, they had a descendant somewhere along the line that knew we were from Ireland.
Called Paddy Murphy, do you know him?
There was a lady, I'm actually hoping she's watching the show. Would be this afternoon over in Pittsburgh, but her dad originally emigrated from Cork.
Cork, yeah.
From Blackpool.
Whoa.
Is it Guinea, I think is the surname.
Guinea.
Guinea, yeah.
Oh, there's a Guinea's pub in Blackpool.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
in 1952, served with the US Air Force. His family, his wife and children, they moved and were based and stationed in Britain for a couple of years, so he was able to travel back and forth. And we met his daughter. He's still alive. He's in his, did she say he's in his 80s or 90s?
Yeah.
He made a beautiful handmade cross for Aaron. She had to come down and give it to Aaron, right? Our story and Aaron's story touched thousands of people in America as well, because
not only the Irish descendants, but a lot of people actually had found out about Aaron actually because he made brain tumour international news.
Yeah.
And what was it? Someone media came after us in America.
Really? Okay. So you're not only just famous in Cork and Ireland, you're famous in America.
Unfortunately.
You're a bit of a household name now, so at this stage.
Yeah, we
Aaron,
had to
can
keep
I
the
ask
Americans
a
out.
question. You're going back to Pittsburgh. In December.
Mm-hmm.
Like you are like, for a young man that has had everything, like literally everything thrown at you.
Yeah.
You have an amazing positive attitude. What keeps you going?
I don't know, to be honest. I just
Yeah, but you're like, you came into the studio today. You sat down here, chat with me.
yeah.
You're so pleasant. You're such a nice guy, actually. In fairness, But like, and I think if I had gone through what you had gone through, I don't know, would I be as pleasant to people, or would I,
Yeah, like it's just if you don't be the positive, then no one else around you will be, because they don't get the positive vibe or anything. Like they don't see, if you pretend not to be happy, people are gonna see that. So I hid everything, I went away for a long time, even the pain, and I put it into a song then, and then people actually realised what was going on. And then it just, from there on, then I could actually I could just be myself. Didn't matter what anyone really thought. If you're worried about what someone thinks, then
Then you're in trouble.
Yeah, it's gonna bring you down.
Yeah, but you've got lots of support from people
Yes.
as well, and I noticed that you brought me in a gift as well from the Celtic Football Club, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
It is.
I knew he was going to say it.
No, explain this to me now exactly.
Don't give it to him.
Receive from Celtic? Yeah, don't give it to me because you're walking it back. What did you get from Celtic today? This just came today, is it?
Yeah, it just came this morning. Conor Murray, the guy from Cork, has been trying for the last 2 months. When he found out I was diagnosed, he said to me, "Do you like Celtic?" I was like, "Yeah, a big fan." He was like, "Well, I have a contact inside and I'll try my best to get you something there." He's like, "Watching with a signed jersey." I was like, "You gotta be kidding me."
Yeah, so you got a signed jersey.
I got a
from Celtic.
signed jersey, signed the ball.
Can I take it out and have a look to show to the camera? Can we?
Yeah.
Good man.
And there's the sort as well.
And the certificate as well,
Yeah.
so it's signed jersey.
Yeah.
So that'll be on my eBay page tonight. Thanks very much for that. Or the Amazon page. Come here, speaking about humour and positive outlooks, Emma, what's the next? You were meant to do a show tonight, weren't you? But you cancelled that to come in here to
I did,
cheer us all up in Cork Live TV.
You're worth it.
It's true, I am.
I started doing comedy nearly 4 years ago now. And it's something I've always wanted to do because I was kind of giddy as a child, and people used to always say, "Oh, that's Emma, she's mad," or "That's Emma, she's really funny," and things like that. But I used to watch a lot of stand-up. I wasn't a huge follower of stand-up, but I used to watch it, and I kind of knew in the back of my mind, I'm going to do that someday. I'm going to give it a try. But I didn't have any real plan for it. And then I was going to go to a show one night, and I rang the Cocoa Club. And Cornelius O'Sullivan.
This is upstairs in the Roundy, isn't it?
In the Roundy, yeah. But it was in French Church Street in the Half Door Cafe before.
Oh, yeah.
And I just rang up about it and I said, I was just saying, is it on tonight and what time? And then I said to Cornelius, how do people get into it? What do you have to do? And he literally, which surprised me so much, he said, if you want to go, I'll give you 5 minutes. And if you're good, I'll give you another 5 minutes another week and we'll build up from there. And I just went, so all you have to do is say you have to do it. And I just said, can I do it? And as I said it, I couldn't believe I said it. I was like, can I do it? And then he said, you can. He gave me a date. Whenever I put on the phone, I went, what am I after doing?
And you did 5 minutes of stand-up.
You just get 5 minutes. That's the way he does it.
Now, were you thrown off the stage? Was there a hook came out?
I think I went way over my time the first time because I got a bit carried away.
Yeah, that's a good sign.
But basically, he's just looking for, are you comfortable on stage? Are you likeable? Are people laughing?
So what kind of comedy do you do?
I do storytelling.
Okay.
So I'm no good at learning things off by heart. My memory is terrible. I used to start by writing down, my jokes, and I used to make anything up. It used to be based on real life stories that used to happen to me, which are funny enough in themselves. My whole life is a joke, really.
No, we want an example.
Yeah. But it's good because anything bad that happens to me then in my life, I just say, this will be really good in comedy.
Yeah.
So I kind of don't really take the effect of bad relationship or getting fired from work or anything bad that could happen. I kind of look at them and I'm saying, yeah, but I'm thinking, this is going to be funny on stage,
Yeah.
And it always works out.
I can use it.
Yeah.
So you have a smirk on your face as you're getting
smirk
fired.
On my face going, keep going, really give it to me, go on. Yeah. And I loved it. I was hooked from then on in.
And you've been doing it now 4 years.
I've been doing it nearly 4 years now.
And you've been gigging quite a bit now, in fairness.
Gigging quite a bit between city limits. There's a place on Douglas Street called Collins. That's the Comedy Tavern. And then upstairs in the Cocoa Club. So there's 3. And also in the Poor Relation on Parnell Place. Yeah, that's on Sunday night. So I did a few minutes on Sunday night there. It was good old crack. Yeah. And there's workshops and everything going on these days as well. It's really a lot of people getting involved.
Because there's a lot of people, that's the thing, like I'm noticing that there's we used to call everybody a comedian at one stage in Cork, but there wasn't an outlet for comedy besides the comedy club now.
Yeah,
in fairness.
City Limits was huge for years, and then I think.
But they were kind of bringing them in from Dublin and from the UK and things.
That's right.
It wasn't homegrown talent.
It was real buy a ticket and pay at the door, whereas the comedy clubs that are on now, it's free to get in. Some people, there's a donation if you want at the end and things like that, but the fact that it's free to get in really brings people in. And then when you get your name known, then you might have other people coming from other venues and they book you again or going up the country and things like that.
Right.
So that's how you get your name out there.
The bookings are coming out, they're coming in steady. Yeah.
They're coming in steady.
So are you going to give up you're a makeup artist by
Yeah, I'm a makeup artist 20 years and I love that as well.
So do you actually tell those stories about things that you've done to people?
I don't. I haven't told anything about makeup yet because I'm afraid.
For the last 20 years,
I'm afraid in case I bitch about my clients. A, people will know who they are because I'm so descriptive, and B, I need that money, man. I need the day job still. But no, I do just life stories and observational comedy and things like that. I've always wanted to be like a female Billy Connolly kind of. That would have been my aim.
That's your biggest.
That's storytelling, yeah.
Well, his stories are they're elaborate to say the least.
Yeah. I actually went to one of Billy's show about 4 years ago in the Opera House, and I got to meet him afterwards. We hung out for about an hour and a half. Just outside smoking, talking.
Sorry, I'll just pick up that name.
I should have bought my Billy Connolly signed ticket. Take that, Aaron. Yeah, that was amazing, and just had a great chat with him. And I was on a show on ITV called Billy and Me about 2 or 3 Easters ago. Just a little snippet about when I met Billy and just talk. Everyone just told their own stories about him and things like that. Yeah, I'm loving it. And there's so many more women coming into the scene as well, which is great to see the younger girls.
There's a pile of female comics.
It is mostly.
It was male dominated for a long time.
It will always be male dominated, I think, always, because I think it will, because men are more.
I'm not so sure.
Yeah, like women seem to be, the perception is that women are into their looks and men are into their. But it's not true. I mean,
there's some fantastic female comics. Out
amazing,
there,
yeah. I find that. All you need is that little shove, and people don't realise how easy it is to get into it, and they think, I could never do that. But for me, I'm afraid of heights, so I'll never do a bungee jump. So this is my bungee jump, daring yourself to do something.
Doing it every night.
And I always say, even if you do it once, you'll feel so proud of yourself. And people aren't as mean as you think. They're not going to be throwing rotten tomatoes and saying, boo, People laugh because they're impressed that you got up there in the first place.
Don't drink a Beamish, Murphy.
Oh, listen, it always helps you. It's the only job you're allowed to drink on.
A couple of drinks there,
yeah.
No, but hold on a second. No, has there ever been a night where it's just been a complete disaster for you?
There's been nights where I've lost my focus. If I look down at the stage and I look at someone's face and they don't look impressed.
Right.
You're talking, you're telling your story, you're telling your joke, but your mind is going, sugar, they're not impressed, what'll I do? So it's very hard to keep, it's like driving 2 cars at the same time, trying to control your mind. And you just have to stop looking at people and stop presuming what they're thinking and just enjoy yourself. Yeah. If you're enjoying it, they'll enjoy it too. But if you're looking nervous, they'll say, "Oh God, no, she's very nervous."
Yeah.
But
you're out. When are you up next? You're doing the Cocoa Lounge again.
The Cocoa Club tomorrow night.
Club, yeah.
And
tomorrow night. What time is that on?
That's on at 8:30.
In the Roundy.
in the roundy, upstairs in the roundy, and
She's
then
buying free drink.
the poor relation will be Sunday night, and then
Relation.
the poor, you'll be my poor relation. After all the bills.
It is actually funny. We were talking outside the door about comedy,
Yeah.
and we were talking about like Aaron's journey with cancer. You say like you have to.
It would be,
If you don't laugh, you'll cry.
Yeah, like I always try making
Yeah.
jokes about certain things that happened to me. Like I always try making some stuff
I
like
can make a
about
book.
the stroke. I've always made a joke about that. If someone says something, you know, very like, oh, don't give me a heart attack because I've already been there. I've got a stroke.
I've already had it.
Don't give me another one. He's
Yeah, don't give me another one. Yeah, for God's sake. Well, I think that's all that we have time for tonight. But I just want to say before, Emma, first of all, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you very much.
No, but it was great at seeing another female comic actually coming out of the ashes in Cork. In fairness, it's great to see.
Thanks.
And Mum and Dad, I really appreciate you coming on. But Aaron, again, I'm going to say to you, I think you're a tremendous inspiration to anybody out there that's going through any sort of upheaval in their life or difficulty in their life. You're a fantastic young man. I wish you 100% success and good health and the whole lot, you know. I think you're a great young fella.
Thank you.
Now, is there any chance of getting
No.
So you can get a picture of it.
and the photograph will be on eBay later. So, I'm Ken O'Flynn. Thanks for joining us tonight on Cork Live TV. It's been an absolute blast. Aaron, thank you very much. Oh yeah. We do have the DJ in the house again, and he's been very quiet actually over there, haven't you, DJ Todd? But he's been very quiet tonight. It's been an absolute blast having you on. I think you're a great young fella.
Thank you.
I really do.
And you know how to embarrass him. You just go, cuddles.
Yeah, only a mammy knows. Only a mammy knows. So thank you very much. I think now we're going to attack the wine.
Thank you.
I just got you on Facebook.
When they were taking bloods and stuff.